Yeah, there's no tile, all those things. That was the classroom I was in when I was your age, growing up in Cameroon. And almost 20 years later, or maybe 15 to 20 years later, I went back to Cameroon, and the classroom hasn't changed. So why am I taking you guys back to where I grew up? See, where I grew up in Cameroon, I'll come back. See, where I grew up in Cameroon, we didn't have anything. I went to you guys' classroom. You guys have, nice stuff, nice table, chairs. You guys have everything going on for you. But when I grew up as a kid, we didn't have anything. Talking about toys. I didn't know about toys until I came to the United States. Right? I didn't even know what toys were. We didn't have toys when I was growing up. You see, look at the condition of those kids your age back in Cameroon and where you are now. So in that sense, I just want to start by saying that you have to be grateful, right? How many of you are grateful for what you have? All right, that's good. They're teaching you guys well. So you have to be grateful for what you have. You see, when I was a kid your age, my grandfather began to teach me those leadership principles. Taking responsibility, which I'm going to put you guys in the group. You guys are going to do some of those things. Responsibility, character, choices, all those things. But you see, when I was your age, I was stubborn. How many of you are stubborn? Some of you are very quick. Some of you are very quick at putting your hands up. Some of you went both hands, right? See, when I was your age, I was very stubborn, right? And so my grandfather was trying to teach me these principles. Some of the things, responsibility, making good choices, character, how to manage your time, some of those things that Coach Frank is teaching you. My grandfather used to try to teach me those things when I was a kid growing up, but I didn't like it at all. All I wanted to do was play soccer. How many of you here play soccer? How many of you here play sports in general? Wow. See, you guys are involved in some. I saw some of you guys playing outside, you guys playing some of the sports. But all I wanted to do when I was your age, I just wanted to play. And so every time my grandfather pulled me up to do something, maybe to teach me a lesson about responsibility or choices or managing my time, or I need to go to church or some of those things, I didn't like it. Because all I wanted to do was play with my friends. So that continued on. I used to get a whooping real bad when I was. How many of you here got whooping? So when we get a whooping, it's probably not what you guys normally get. We used to have like a cane. That's yeah. Spatula? Wow.
What do you win?
And so I probably get a whooping probably 3 times a week. I was that stubborn. But you see, I had to do what my grandfather asked me to do. Some of you, when your parents ask you to do something, you become stubborn and you don't do it. How many of you have ever refused to do something that your parents asked you to do? So it means I probably need to change my topic to respect, right?
I like this topic. Yeah.
But you gotta respect your parents. Why? They're the one that brought you to this world and know what is right for you. See, what I'm trying to do is, I'm trying to teach you guys or share some of my experience when I was your age, not doing some of the things that I was supposed to do. See, I didn't like what my grandfather asked me to do or my grandmother asked me to do because I didn't grow up with my parents. But I had to do it anyhow because guess what? I get a whooping each and every time. So I didn't like whooping, of course, so I had to do it. So basically, if your parents ask you to do something, do it. Alright? What is keeping you from doing what your parents ask you to do?
You don't like it.
Huh?
I'm not doing it.
That's the best answer I've had in my how many years in life? And you gotta respect your parents. So I kept going on. Some of the things that my grandfather began to teach me was to go to church. He used to wake me up when I was around your age for me to follow him to church at 5 o'clock in the morning. How many of you don't wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning?
I wake up at 5:30.
Okay.
I wake up at 3.
So my grandfather woke me up at, by 5 o'clock in the morning, I had to follow him to church. We grew up Catholic. And so every time when I come back from the church, one of the things that my grandfather used to say was, son, what did you learn today in church?
Not to sleep.
You have a talent. Maybe you should be a comedian. All right. The reason why he asked us that was when I was around your age, when I would go to church, especially with my siblings or my sisters or cousins, I'll sleep in church. And so the reason why my grandfather used to ask me, what did you learn in church today, was because he wanted to make sure that I was paying attention to what was being preached in church. And one of the things that when we do the activity today, I'm going to ask you guys what is one thing that you learned? Because it's not what you do that really matters, it's what you learn from what you do. So the reflection part of things really counts a great deal. What did you learn from it? Because you can do things, but it's not experience that counts. It's not experience that you gain wisdom. It's through reflecting from the experience that makes you wiser. How many of you would like to be wise? Okay.
I'm already too young for that. Oh, no, I'm not.
Some of you said. So, like I said, so I'll go to church, and then around 7 o'clock, I'll go to school. And then my grandfather hired a private tutor to come to our home to teach us. So not only was I being taught in school, I had after-school program. How many of you have after-school program where you're actually learning something more than what you be taught in school? A few of you. And then on Saturdays we didn't have school. So guess what my grandfather wanted me to do? Huh?
Make you learn. Take a nap.
Take a nap? On Saturdays, I'll follow my grandfather to the farm. Some of you are like, huh? Sounds fun? So it was a good thing, right? He was a great leader, and so he wanted to be an example. But of course, when I was her age, I didn't really see it then. So I didn't really want to go to the farm because on Saturdays I wanted to play with my friends, take a nap, like some of you guys are saying, watch a movie, and everything. But I had to fall onto the farm. And so when we go to the farm, we had different types of fruits and vegetables, apples, pears. They're kind of different from what you guys have here in America. But when we go to the farm, my grandfather would ask me to watch what he did. And then after that, we'll pile up all the things that we got that day on the farm, and we'll take it back home. So when we went back home, we had a lot of things, fruits, vegetables, all sorts of things. And so when we come back as soon as we got home from the farm, here's what my grandfather told me. He asked me to go, because my grandfather owned some houses. So we had tenants. How many of you would like to own a home one day? Like me. Yeah.
I'm living in cardboard box.
Yeah, you want to be enterprising. You want to be an entrepreneur. So I'll go to the neighbors and I'll call their kids, and they all come forth. And then my grandfather would ask me all these fruits, vegetables, and everything that we brought from the farm. My grandfather would ask me to distribute it to the neighbors, to the kids. What was he teaching me?
It's something called sharing.
Sharing.
Not
Okay.
eat your veggies.
Respect. Kind to others. Great. Yeah.
Not eat.
That's what he was trying to teach me. Some of the things you guys, sharing. Service. But I used to, when I was around your age, I didn't like it, because when we have all those things, we wanted to keep it to ourselves. We wanted to eat all the fruits and vegetables to ourselves when we got it at home. How many of you here, at one point or another, you haven't shared when you have something? You did not share it. All right.
I hate sharing.
So from now on, I'd like to encourage you, whenever you get something, when someone gives you something, think about someone that you can share it with. Because like the saying goes, sharing is caring. Right? So, do you know your purpose in life? Why you're put in this earth? You've been put in this earth for the sake of another person, not you. That's why you're here. You're here. See, do you get more joy eating the food by yourself or when you share it with someone else?
By myself.
So by yourself? Okay. If it's by yourself, do you like to be a loner?
Yes.
You like to be a loner?
Yes.
Okay. So that's one of the things that he began to teach me. To share. Another thing that my grandfather used to do, he was a retired nurse. And so as a retired nurse, he had people come home and they had, wounds and different, cuts from accidents and different types of things. And he would take care of their wounds for free. Right? This is what you call giving back to your community. Taking care of people. That's what he did when because he was retired then. So you want to get into those habits. He was teaching me those habits when I was around your age. To start caring about other people, to start sharing. He wanted me to build a spiritual foundation by following to church. What did I learn from church? All those things he began to build in me. And in 2004, that's when I came to the United States. So now when I came to the United States, my grandfather wasn't around. So guess what? I was very excited, right?
Party!
He wants to party. So when I came to the United States, I was in high school now. And so my grandfather wasn't around. So guess what? I didn't have someone to discipline me. I didn't have someone to give me some sort of direction. And so guess what? When I came to the United States, they started making fun of me. because of my accent. Say you talk funny. How many of you have ever made fun of someone? You made fun of someone? Why you don't want to make fun of someone else because you don't know what the other person have gone through. See, I grew up in Cameroon. I speak different languages. So you don't speak the language that I speak, right? So you can't judge a person by their language or make fun of people. So because of that, especially when I was in high school, I had low self-esteem, low self-confidence. How many of you here think you have low self-esteem, low self-confidence? All right, we need to change that. We need to build strong self-esteem. We need to build strong self-confidence. Do you know the reason? You know what you can do to start building your self-confidence or self-esteem? You need to start saying positive things to yourself. You need to start affirming yourself. When people say you're a loser, you don't listen to what people say. You say to yourself, I'm a winner. Say to yourself, I'm a champion. Say to yourself, I'm a leader.
I'm a leader.
Yeah. Because guess what? People doesn't determine your self-esteem or self-confidence. You determine your self-esteem and self-confidence. So if someone is saying negative things about you, about your looks, about how you dress, about the types of shoe you're wearing, how you look nerdy, don't worry about what they say. What they say doesn't matter. What matters is what you say to yourself. How many of you talk to yourself? And when you talk to yourself, what do you say to yourself? What are some of the things that you say to yourself? Yeah.
I say today's gonna get great, but I don't know.
Things are gonna get great. What do you say to yourself? Yeah. What do you say to yourself?
I need to do something.
You do something?
I talk to myself on if I have anything to do today.
Oh, if you have anything to do, what do you?
I try not to think of Minecraft when I'm trying to do homework.
Yeah. How many of you say negative things about yourself? You have a negative conversation. Okay. Here's my encouragement to you. If you say negative things about yourself, you're going to have a low self-esteem. And when you have a low self-esteem because of the negative things you're saying about yourself, people are going to notice that. And guess what? They're going to take advantage of you even more. So start practicing the habit, right? One of the things that I did was every morning when I'm maybe brushing my teeth, I look at myself in the mirror and I say to myself, you look handsome today. So look at yourself tomorrow, right? Look at yourself in the mirror, I'm beautiful, right? Say to yourself, I'm beautiful. I'm the most beautiful girl in the world. Yeah, say to yourself, I'm the most beautiful girl in the world.
I'm beautiful.
Yeah, I look at myself and I say, man, you look good. You look good. You dress good. You feel good. I'm ready to conquer the world. So that's one of the things that I want you guys to start building your self-esteem right now. This is the right age for you to start building your self-worth and self-esteem because it's crucial. At the amount of places I've seen how, because I used to be in your shoes. I used to have low self-esteem because people were saying to me, you're African, you black person, you look weird, you talk weird. And so I used to accept that. And so when I accepted that, guess what? I used to be a loner. I didn't really have any friends. Because I accepted what they said to me. But very soon, I started changing that conversation. It's not what they said to me, it's what I say to myself. Another way that you can gain self-esteem or self-worth, high self-esteem, self-worth, practice complimenting other people. So so after you've already woke up in the morning, looked yourself in the mirror and said, man, I look good today, I'm handsome, or I'm beautiful. When you go out there, when you see something, when you're interacting with your